Hey there, I'm Mike Dunn from Gaming Trend, and we're here at Gen Con 2023 with Jay Cormier from Off the Page Games, and he's going to show us their next big game. Now, we're big fans of Mind Management. It was one of our games of the year last year. And we're also big fans of Harrow County, which is coming out soon. And that was one of our best ofs of last year's Gen Con. And I've actually gotten to try this online. Jay invited me to give it a shot like a month and a half, something like that. It already looks vastly different. I can't wait to see how it's come along.
Yeah.
This is Manifest Destiny.
That's right.
And it is another great comic property, indie comic property, which I have already started reading thanks to Jay. So Jay, tell us about Manifest Destiny.
Yes, I'll start by saying this is, of course, still prototype, so it's all paper and
Of course.
cardboard chits and whatnot. Yeah, Manifest Destiny is the comic, and this game is the story of Lewis and Clark exploring America. However, it's riddled with monsters. And then I also like to say at this moment that the monsters are an invasive species. There's no analogy to wiping out any kind of species or race.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no,
It is an invasive species. They're not indigenous to the land. And
Yes.
even the Native Americans in the story are helpful to their cause.
Excellent.
Sacagawea being a main character in that story. And
Yeah, I
so,
didn't think about that.
Yeah, well, it's
There's
about
a lot of
baggage to that.
baggage with the colonialism aspect
Sure.
of it.
Yeah.
I think the comic manages to sidestep that pretty well, too.
really well, yeah.
So-
really well.
But yeah, let's talk about the game.
Yeah, so you choose a character you play. It's going to be a 1 to 4 player cooperative experience in which you're going to choose one of the characters, and the more characters get unlocked, it's going to be a chapter-based game. So the core game is going to come with 2 chapters, and then it'll come with a couple of expansions as well when we kickstart it. That will have more characters and some female characters. You get some gear that you can choose, so everyone has some asymmetry in how they get to do things on their turn. The overall concept is for chapter 1, the fauna level, is you're just trying to kill 3 monsters. So you have to kind of go out into this America, into this world, and you're going to be taking these little tokens off, and underneath will be some terrain, some resources, and you have to find 3 monsters. Not only do you have to find 3 monsters, you have to figure out how to kill them. And so you have to find a fort to kill them. Each one's going to tell you how to kill it differently. And so to find a fort, you've got this little map here saying, oh, there's a fort located in this pattern. Exactly. And so you have to find 3 forts, and that's the goal of the game. However, it's not just that's not all you're doing. You have all these challenges that happen throughout every day that you're playing. You start off with, for example, parched lips, where you have to find water. Okay, great. There's some rodent theft, and you have to build a trap, and you need a vine, and you need a bone, and you're going to spend some water to do that. And then there's a bug infestation, so you need a couple of mud. So there's all these different resources. Now, the whole crux of the game is that every single resource and terrain that's on this board has a logical reason about how, where, and why it exists where it does. And that's what this board is for. And so it looks like a lot to look at once, but if you just kind of break it down to this, water is always next to wood. And that's really helpful because we need to find water right off the bat. So if you find water, great, but if you don't find wood, well, you know there's going to be water adjacent to it. So that's helpful. And you know that wood...
And that's orthogonally adjacent.
Orthogonal adjacent. Yes. And you know that wood, there's always exactly 1 wood in every row and every column, like a Sudoku type thing. And so once you find 1 wood, you know there's no more wood in that row or column. And they all have different rules on how they find them. And so whatever you're looking for, you're like, okay, we know we need vine. We know vine is in the same column as rock. So we need to find rock. Oh, we know where rock is. So it becomes this game of deducing where things are based on the information that you have. But it's super thematic. So it's a logic puzzle. But the theme is just dripping with so much theme, as we like to do it off the page games. Have so much theme with the characters and your gear and all the different things that are happening here. You have these destiny cards that give you a leg up. If you can complete a full row or column, you get extra abilities. And you have a backpack that you can store everything. You can make a shelter. You can build a fire. All these things play into it. And the whole concept is that this is chapter 1, and there's going to be many maps for fauna, but this slides out. So, for example, this slides out like this. And you can put in other maps for this. This is just a prototype of the sample. But, for example, if you started going like this, you're like, wow, look at that. We found water right off the bat. So you take that, you put it up here. Once you reach 5 of these, then this is going to resolve. You do whatever is here in the pass column if you passed it. And if you failed, you do whatever's in this column. And then you move on to the next one. And that one takes 3 hours, and that one's 3 hours.
Or
But
are they
now-
the same on the
Yeah,
other
they're all
side?
sun tokens.
Okay, got it.
And so now you can explore it from any. You don't have tokens moving around like other games. Like
Right.
you can explore from any adjacent to any region that you already explored. So now you can explore those 3 regions. Well, let's go in here. Mud. Well, that's actually really handy. So we know that mud is adjacent to water and rock. So we know that one of these 3 is rock. And we actually know right from the beginning. It tells you right here. The peak of the mountain is at B2. It tells you right on this little info sheet. So we know that there's the tallest point of the mountain is right there. And we also know that all rock is connected. So wherever the rocks are, they connect to this rock. And so one of these 3 has to be rock, because that's how you find mud.
Right. Okay.
So that's what if you needed that. Well, we need mud, which is great, but we also need vine, and we know vine is in the same column as rock. So you start going in the direction of the things that you need for that day. And when you finish a day, you have to eat. If you can't eat, you die and you lose a game. And if ever you're told to drink some water and you can't, then you lose the game. And then the next day comes up and you put up a few more challenges and you keep going until you accomplish a mission. And this one is defeating 3 monsters.
Nice.
Now-
I really like the kind of balance of like survival mechanics
Yeah.
with kind of trying to play whack-a-mole to find where the beasties are, right?
Yes.
Like, so there's always this kind of level of tension and concern that you're not gonna pick the right one and find where the monster.
And it's not just randomly, wildly guessing where things are. There's always logic to like, well, we have to go this way to get vines, because vines are in the same column. We know this one of these is rock, so there's got to be vine at least in this column. So you actually are, there's some guessing, but with information.
Now it feels like this game could also be played easily solo.
Yeah, 1 to 4.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Nice. But I imagine it's probably a lot more fun. Well, I mean, I guess it just depends on how you like to play. it,
Exactly.
right? I
think
imagine it has like a different flavor.
It
when
does.
You're making it a
because everybody has a different ability and a different gear, and I think that's when all the discussion happens in a co-op game, which I like, where it's like, wait, we know that this is one of these rocks. Let me do it, because then I can do this my thing, and you on your turn, why don't you use your thing? And you know what I mean? Like, people talk about they want to make sure they maximize the efficiency of their gear and their ability. Like Lewis, he can collect double of a resource once per turn. So like he would love to have found that mud because we needed 2 mud.
Right. Now, is there now if you're doing it cooperatively, and I know you have to start in one space and then like go adjacent to it from there. Is there any scaling depending on how many players there are?
It's all in the gear.
all
So
in the gear.
in a 1-player game, you get 3 gear. In a 2-player game, you get 2 gear each. And in a 3 or 4-player game, you get 1 gear each.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, let's take a look at these characters and their abilities real quick.
Yeah. Clark, he gets to go somewhere, and if he doesn't like, he's like, oh, I don't want that. He can flip his card over and say, I'm not going there, and go somewhere else.
All right.
And so that's
a mulligan.
Exactly. York, when he gets a resource, if it's a resource you need for the day, like the mud that we found, normally it goes in your backpack, but your backpack has some limits.
Right.
If you can carry all this up to 4, no problem. But if you start going into this zone, when you finish a card, you have to pay extra water for the overload because it's cost a lot, it's spending a lot of energy. So instead, what York can do, if he finds a resource, he can put it right on the card that's needed instead of going in the backpack.
Nice.
So that's York.
Nice.
Lewis, you can get double resource once per day. So you got to choose, like, we're running out of water. You find water, and then we'll get 2 water this turn, that kind of thing.
Nice.
Collins, he can move through regions where there's monsters. When monsters come out, this one says it costs 1 extra sun to go to the 2 westernmost columns. So we have to do this to represent the fact that, hey, these 2 columns, there's a monster roaming around in there. And so if you want to go in there, it takes a little bit extra time, and it costs 2 sun tokens to go there.
Okay, so these tokens that you're picking up, they become sun tokens that are actually like a currency.
They're a time that once we hit 5,
okay.
that's
so then that's
trigger.
the end of the day. Okay.
At the end of that card, and then
Yeah.
3, and then 3, and then it's the end of the day.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So this is morning, afternoon.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, sure. And so
Midday, late
Collins doesn't have to spend an extra sun token to walk in that area.
Okay, so if you have to spend these to explore past protected
Yeah,
by
that's
monsters.
by literally lifting up a thing and going like this.
And so that's costing you
An hour.
An hour. Got it. Okay.
And then we have all these different gears that you can have where, instead of taking a resource, if you don't need that resource, you could use a satchel, which lets you get one of these Destiny cards for free. And these are often really kind of cool game-breaking benefits that you can use.
Okay.
A flint, if you want to make a fire, it only costs 1 wood or 1 stone. Normally it costs 2 wood or 2 stone to make a fire. And so in this level, that's okay. The next chapter is called Flora, and there's a plant zombie infestation that's happening. And
I think that's the one that I demoed with you online.
And to kill them, you need fire. And so that is very helpful in that chapter.
I remember I lucked out and got the fire pretty perfectly on that.
The compass, if you can guess what the next thing is that you're going to get, it's for free. You discard the sun token.
Nice.
So you really want to use your deduction. So and you can only use it once per day. So you got to figure out when you want to use it. But it gives you a free hour.
Very nice.
Sextant lets you get a sneak preview into tomorrow's cards. Normally you don't know what tomorrow's cards until you're done. But if you use this, you can bring out some cards so you know some things you need to do tomorrow. So if you're already kind of caught up and you already have this, you still have a few more hours left, you can start working on tomorrow's.
Now, how many days is a typical session?
Anywhere from 3 to 5. Yeah.
That's not bad.
3 to 5 days. And so then the core box will come with fauna and flora, which are and a number of maps that you can slide in, so it gets very replayable.
Oh, so you can even so it's not just one map per monster. Yeah, that makes sense.
Then it will come with 2 expansions. Each one will have 2 chapters and have all to do mechanics, concepts, and chapter 5 and 6 will be. Well, chapter 5 will have a trader mechanic, and chapter 6 will have a team play, so competitive. Whereas there's a mutiny that may or may not happen in the comics. Spoiler alerts. And so you start on this end. And
I knew I should have read it before I came to the con.
I think you can almost see that coming.
I suppose. It seems like a standard trope of that or that kind of story.
That's right. Yeah. And so we also made this map to be exactly 8.5 by 11. So we're going to offer more maps to download.
That's what I was.
So you have unlimited maps.
I was thinking this is really cool because you could possibly have like a map generator or use user-generated maps for it. That's super cool. That was something that I didn't see in the demo that we did.
Yeah, we actually paid a programmer to create maps for us because it actually it's a heck of a puzzle to even create a map.
Yeah,
make sure it follows all the rules. It's really hard.
Yeah. That's a lot of logic that you have to program in. Let's talk about these cards right here. These look pretty cool.
The tarp lets you save fire. If you ever were to lose your fire, that would save it. Tarp puts a tarp over the thing. So sometimes there's a rain, like here, there's a rainstorm, and so whether you pass or fail, you lose your fire. But that would save it.
Make a deal.
You can discard it, and is that the TP one? Straight line.
One path. Straight line from one TP. Yes.
So it allows you if you have a TP here, you can go way up here and just look at it, and then you know what it is. You get it once you connect to it. Moss, you can use as food in case you don't have food, because you need food every single day. We start with 1, but next day you need to find more food.
So this actually begs a question: is there kind of a memory kind of mechanic?
No, because much like Sudoku or bind management, once you know stuff, you can be like, okay, we know that's that. We know that this is the.
I see these tokens. Perfect. Okay. And so just like in mind management, that's an educated guess, right?
Yeah.
Or sometimes not quite so educated.
Or sometimes exact, like 100% you know. Right. Let's see if we have any more information here. This and this. Okay. So, for example, this is a field, and a field is always adjacent to food and wood. So we 100% know that has to be food.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was one of the things I really liked about mind management is that how that's kind of the core of of kind of the interaction and I know whenever I played the bad guy, the recruiter, that I love just kind of sitting there watching all the agents.
So fun.
And just kind of stifling giggles while they went down the wrong path.
Well, it's a good 2-player game like cat and mouse. I prefer it when there's multiple rogue agents because then you can hear them talk.
Right.
And you're like, oh, that's what we think, eh? Well, I'll surprise you.
Yeah. But this is cool. It's using it, but in a different way, in a cooperative way.
And what's great about cooperative in this game, this could be very heavy and brain burnery, and it could be too much for one person if it was competitive right from the get-go. And so being cooperative, it's really sharing the load, and everyone can contribute. Like, no, that can't be because this. Remember, there's only one wood, so that can't be wood because there's wood here. Oh yeah, right. So everybody, I find, chimes in and contributes.
Excellent, excellent. Well, this looks great, Jay, and it's come along quite
Coming along, yeah.
since the last time I saw it. When are you hoping to get this up to Kickstarter?
I'm hoping Q1.
Q1. All right. And what are you thinking the base game kind of MSRP?
I'm hoping, yeah, I'm hoping $40 for the base game.
That's a pretty reasonable price.
I would love to make it $40, and then we'll have a deluxe. Well, I'm trying to see if I can make this whole thing out of wood. Yeah. So we'll see.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And I imagine you'll probably offer like some of your previous games as add-ons, that sort of.
I'll have to think about that. Yeah, and I think we'll see how well Harrow County does.
Right. And Harrow County, that's about to ship to backers, right?
Well, it's about it's printing.
Oh, it's printing. So that should be shipping to backers.
October, November.
Yeah. That's very nice. Just in time for Christmas.
I hope so.
Excellent. Well, is there a like a newsletter, like a reminder?
offthepagegames.com. There's a newsletter there.
Off the Page Games. Go sign up for the newsletter. Get notified when Manifest Destiny launches. In the meantime, there's some amazing comics you can go check out to kind of prepare you for it.
Yes, 48 issues. It's an amazing story. It's like a one long giant story.
Yeah, I know. After I got Mind Management, I basically devoured those comics, and then Harrow County. My wife actually enjoyed those as well. So as soon as I finished one volume, I handed it over.
Oh, great.
She started reading it. So she's excited about playing the game. She's not that big of a gamer. So I think that's a success story.
It is. I'm so lucky to have fallen into this niche of making games based off of cool comics.
It's kind of perfect.
It is so perfect for me too, because I get to work with all my comic book heroes and icons, you know?
Yeah. Are there, actually, just kind of to go off on that tangent, are there any comics that you're like, oh man, if only I could make a game based off of that? I got one in mind for myself.
I'll tease one thing, is that a very high profile comic book creator emailed me out of the blue after seeing Mind Management and said, hey, could you make a game based on my comic? And it's a high profile comic, and that's our 4th game. And I'm super excited about that.
Okay.
So I can't say what it is yet until
Right.
but it's awesome. It's a seminal comic.
Okay.
Very important comic.
I'm wondering if it's the one that's in my brain.
Don't know.
I would love to see you tackle a saga.
I knew it was going to say. I don't think I could touch that. I'm sure that's got like rights issues and like.
Sure, but I'd still love to see it.
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody but Off the Page Games.
That's
doing
awesome.
that justice.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to do the Jeff Lemire stuff.
Oh yeah.
That feels on par with a lot of the stuff I'm doing.
Yeah,
Black Hammer or something.
Totally.
Great. Yeah.
Or man, what if you could do something like In Call, like an old Jordan?
Jordan Rescue. Oh my god. I love Jordan Rescue too.
Yes, I've been devouring those as well.
That's hilarious. I don't know what that game would be bonkers though.
It probably wouldn't make any sense, and you would still enjoy the hell out of it. So, all right, cool. Well, thanks a lot, Jay. This looks great. I'm sure we'll see more of this in the coming months. Thanks a lot, Jay.
Thanks a lot. Bye, everybody.